Oh, hey everyone, I didn't notice you there, even though you're there every week. Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast from RAF Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Adam doesn't have a cat on his head, Gumbert. Today I have two guests with me. First I have Chad Michael Ennis.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey there. And we have our neighbor to the north, not North Dakota, but Canada, Alex Kozina. What's up, man?
I have to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised to learn that Chad is a guest on this podcast too. I was under the impression he was on every normal episode of it.
I also, like, what the fuck? Where's my nickname? We got guests to the north. I got not a cat on my head. And I'm just...
Well, Chad, I have a cat on my head. Chad has a cat on his head.
Do I?
Worth pointing out, Chad, you are a guest on this podcast. You'll have to show up for a couple more episodes before we bequeath you. Oh, look at that.
I don't think you're allowed to say bequeath. You're not allowed to say bequeath on Twitch.
Since I've been on the show, I haven't missed an episode, and you have. So there's that.
That's true.
Chad, you got to step up your game.
I think maybe you missed one or two. I don't know.
Anyways, like 2 or 3.
Yeah. You can catch us live on twitch.tv/AffleVideo Sunday evenings at 8:30. YouTube and podcast services Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
I can't get this cat off my head. Quick, somebody catch this stray. We're going to talk about Stray today.
That's upcoming on today's show. We're going to talk about Stray. We're going to talk about As Dusk Falls. Also going to talk about Ubisoft Chop Block. That's a new segment of the show.
He was right. I did this Warner Brothers, and now it's just bad luck.
What happened?
This isn't good. Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
All right.
I mean, am Chad, not a nerd. I am a jock. Engage Family Gaming in the chat.
I mean, I don't think that's the most pressing question that we need to address here, Chad. As you know, we previously went over earlier in the show, you've been hiding the fact that you're a guest on this podcast for me for the past 268 episodes of this podcast.
Alex, can I tell you a story?
I really think that we need to just have an intervention right here and right now to address why you would just pull on like such a masterful charade for years now.
Can I tell you a story? Last time somebody threw me an intervention, everyone died. Unrelated. Unrelated to the intervention. There was just like really bad cake there. They brought bad cake to an intervention. Everyone died. I didn't eat it though because I was watching my calories. But I did tell you about 4 weeks ago. Adam's gone now. Arm's
What is happening?
There we are. I don't know what's happening.
Back. Okay.
Stuff's happening on today's show. Fun stuff. Main quest, though. I'm just going to skip over that. None of that happened. Last of Us, Part 1, gets some new details. There's some Kat Bailey at IGN.com. I didn't put it in here, but apparently there was a leak. Someone leaked like 6 minutes of gameplay from Last of Us, and then like 2 days later, Naughty Dog's like, hey, here's some information about Last of Us. We want to control the narrative. Last of Us director Neil Druckmann was among those taking center stage. That man. To outline some of the biggest enhancement to the beloved classic, from graphical enhancement to improvements to accessibility. The team also outlined a host of new features, which include there's a new permadeath mode. I don't know how you play the game with permadeath. A speedrun mode where players can time their runs, unlockable costumes for Joel and Ellie, an enhanced photo mode, a model viewer mode. On top of that, there's also big changes to AI, graphics, controls, which aim to enhance The Last of Us pretty much every level. For instance, the remake will utilize the DualSense haptics to add tension as Ellie draws a bowstring, or to enhance the tactile feel of Joel and Ellie petting a giraffe. Feel the giraffe hairs through your controller.
Man, I know this game is 45 years old, but like spoilers, man. Petting a giraffe?
You didn't know the context.
All these announcements sound...
I spoiled it. Damn it.
Yeah, you're the guy.
All these announcements sound all good and well. I gotta be honest, the one new feature that I am most intrigued by are the new unlockable costumes for Joel and Ellie. Like, is this gonna be like Sonic the Hedgehog in the Smash Bros. Series, where it's just like slightly darker kind of palette shades from what you normally get? Or are we getting some really like wild and weird costumes? Because in the unlikely event that it is the latter, I'm all for it.
Give me Donut Drake, man. Give me Donut Drake, but Ellie.
I mean, I like the idea that
Ellie.
it's not like Donut Joel. It's specifically Donut Drake.
Yes.
Like they're like, you don't even know who
Drake.
this person is. let alone why he's all like flabbery. But lo and behold, here he is.
What is Donut Drake? So just
It's an
real quick.
unlockable costume from Uncharted series, and he just plays a really fat Nathan Drake.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
don't remember that at all.
They
on the technical
removed it. I just want to say real quick, they removed Donut Drake like pretty early on in the series. Like I think he only made it into Uncharted 1 and 2, and then I think for 3 because technically it was becoming more difficult, and also Naughty Dog was, growing as a company. They decided we want to kind of move away from this. So it's been a long while, but old school fans will never forget.
They should have doubled down. On the technical side, The Last of Us Part 1 can render in native 4K at a target of 30 or dynamic 4K at 60. Added power to the PS5 means an environment have denser physics with tons of bumpables and chippables that translate into gunfire, ripping concrete and other objects apart. Naughty Dog hopes these changes will make The Last of Us remake, as Druckmann puts it, extremely better than the original. So as we get through that, I'll go into all this stuff. Again, if you think it's worth $70 or not, that's an argument some people have had. Some people think it's worth $200. They would pay $200 for this video game.
That's
But
right.
I'm with you. Unlockable stuff, new costumes and all that seems interesting. I'm interested in whatever this permadeath and speedrun mode is, because I think that'll actually be something different and interesting.
Yeah, this was a weird. Like the narrative around this game right now is it's hard to justify a 10-year-old game being $70 on a new console when it's just a remake, quote unquote, just a remake. That's the narrative that's around on Twitter right now. And so to come out and say, hey, don't worry, it's going to be worth it because you can change the clothes on Joel and Ellie. And also there's a mode where if you die once, you're dead forever. Like that seems to me like it's not addressing the concern and that it's actually making things worse. I would love to see more information about the physics changes, like more demos of how things are chippable and how they compare to the original, to give me like all the controls. I mean, like to give me a better idea of the actual overhaul and artistic direction. And don't eat any kind of nuts when you're doing a podcast.
Guys, I think this podcast is trying to kill us. I think that we might want to proceed with caution as we go forward with this.
Oh my God.
You good there, Chad?
The last like 4 podcasts in a row, I've eaten the stupid turkey cheddar dark nut clusters, and the nuts go down smooth every time. That's what he said. But this time, man, son of a bitch. Okay.
While Chad chokes to death, by the way, people, here's my surprise. I had Cold Stone, and they have Nintendo stuff at Cold Stone.
Oh, man.
I got the Mario ice cream.
Hold it more in front of your face.
Even though they
so
put
people
Kirby
can
on
see
the
it.
box.
Oh, yeah, Kirby.
They put Kirby on the box, but I have the Mario version because it's just cake batter and fucking sprinkles. Continue.
Nice.
Cold Stone used to be my favorite part of visiting Detroit, to be honest. That place is great.
It's so good. Oh, it's so good.
So yeah, back to Last of Us. Like that's where I would like to see them kind of justify things a bit. And maybe it's too early, or maybe they don't want to spoil anything, or maybe they don't care enough. I mean, they obviously care about their game, but like maybe they're just like, when people play it, they'll understand. I just thought this was a weird thing to announce as in the middle of all of that controversy.
Big agree. I'm not eating a waffle cone. Yeah. I guess we'll see when it comes out. We'll see the differences, what they got out in front of it. I'm still not going to pay $70, but I'll pay $40 during Black Friday. Moving on from that then, it's playtime. Let's save the stuff that we're going to review for last because that will take more time. So we'll start with Chad, then we'll go to me, and then we'll go to Alex because you actually have a thing you're reviewing. So Chad, go ahead.
I would like to sing Bob Marley's Redemption song. I'm dead. I am dying. And what I mean is we rated again this week. And if you remember last week on the podcast, I was all upset and butthurt about the fact that we played 13 rounds of the Vault of Glass thing, and none of us got Vex Mythoclast, the exotic weapon at the end of the raid. And we were all just super upset. Fast forward to this week when we did Riven in The Last Wish 10 times. It took us like 2 hours. Did it 10 times. And all of us got the gun at least once. All 6 of us got it at least once. Some of us twice. Third time, we would have all turned into ladies. That's how the song goes. Once, twice, Third time a lady. So yes, we totally redeemed ourselves in the words of Dumb and Dumber. Had a grand old time. Can't wait for next week when we get whatever the hell is next. Second thing I played is more Deathloop. And again, I've talked about this to death, but I would like to just say, howlongtobeat.com, you're a piece of shit. And by that I mean it's the best website that informs me on what games I should play and when. But it says 16 hours to beat, and I am now 19 hours into this game, and I still feel like I have a lot more to go that I'm discovering. So I am enjoying the game still, but I thought I was going to be done with it by now, and now Metal Wolf Chaos XD. Again, if you aren't playing that game yet, fuck you. So I'm also someone, fuck me, because I'm not playing it yet, because I thought Deathloop would be done by now. But it's not. All right, that's it. That's all I played. I'm going to die now.
Yeah, Chad, please go get some water. And
while I just coughed, I farted at the same time, and it smells like a dead dumpster. It's awful.
Wonderful.
Jesus.
So, I played a little bit of XCOM 2, just having more fun. Chad, I made you in the game. You're a grenadier. You're a colonel.
I love it.
You've only died once, and I saved scum to bring you back to life.
Yes!
Not too bad.
Thank you.
Having a great time. Some more Cyberpunk 2077, because I'm just grinding that game out solely for my second playthrough. All that stuff's fine. But I did play As Dusk Falls, which is the new game on Game Pass from Interior Nights. And I also played Stray. So we're going to review those in a second. But before, I just saw that you had another game you played that wasn't reviewed. So Alex, go ahead and tell us about your last game before we start reviewing Stray.
Sure. I've been playing a lot of a little Nintendo Switch game, technically a multi-platform game. You can get it on your PlayStation 4s and 5s as well, but it is a game that I've been playing on my Switch by the name of Chicory: A Colorful Tale. So a little bit of background information. The last game that I've been trying to get into on my Nintendo Switch is the recent remake of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I enjoyed that game a whole heck of a bunch way back in the day on the Game Boy Color, but every single time I've tried to pick up the remake, I don't dislike it, but it's always just kind of felt like a game that I'm playing out of obligation. I picked up Chicory on the recommendation of one Janet Garcia of MinMax and Kinda Funny, and I gotta say, this game is both real delightful and also in a way, kind of what I was kind of hoping to get out of Link's Awakening, because it is a very Legend of Zelda / Link's Awakening inspired game, right down to having a map that has sort of the fog of war covering all of it until you enter into a new screen on it. What makes it fairly unique of an experience, what really kind of sets it apart from the Zelda games that inspired it, is that you have a magic paintbrush. At the beginning of the game, the entire world is completely sterilized of any color. It's reduced to black and white, complete monochrome, and you can use the brush to paint back in color. Depending on the area that you're in, you can paint in different colors. As you progress further in the game, you gain the ability to select different kind of brush strokes that you can use to kind of paint in colors in a specific fashion. So you can get like a paint bucket brush tool that you can use to just paint in a whole swath of color at once, or you can get like a star brush tool to paint in a bunch of star shapes. And all of this is employed in the use of both some real fun kind of coloring painting segments and some genuinely really solid puzzles. I'm not ready just yet to rank it amongst the best of the Zelda series, but I've really been enjoying it, and I am looking forward to seeing it to completion. It's a good time.
How long is that?
9 hours
so far? Like how much? 9 hours? Oh, I could get down with the 9 hours.
Yeah, and I'm like around halfway through that, and I think my in-game counter shows like 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, not super long based on what I've played thus far.
It does look cool. I just had no idea what kind of game it was. So that's interesting to hear.
The music. So I've seen this game all over Twitter because the music is composed by Lena Raine, who did the soundtrack for what the fuck is the game about depression and climbing a mountain? Celeste, yes. She did the music for Celeste, which was incredible. And so she's been posting about this game nonstop, I guess, for the last year since it came out. But yeah, that's all I know about it. So I'm really glad that you are enjoying it.
The music is very good. It is a little bit of a different vibe than what I got out of Celeste. I remember the Celeste soundtrack being very kind of chiptune inspired. This is a little bit of a different mood, but still very good in its own right.
Nice. What game dev is this? What studio or person? I'm scrolling to the Wikipedia
I
page. Let me see.
do not remember. We're all furiously Wikipediaing. The title screen of the game says like made by like Bob and Jane, like it's like a family run thingamabob.
So it's a Kickstarter game by just one guy, Greg Lobanov, who previously worked on Wandersong, which was funded within a day. Wow. So it's just like a dude, and he called up his friend Lena and said, hey, you want to do some music? And then he called up artists Alexis and Madeline and said, hey, do you want to do some art for it? That's awesome.
That's cool.
Now I want to play it even more. Thanks, Alex, for bringing that on the show.
Hey, not a problem.
But I guess you ready to move into Stray?
Oh, you better believe it.
Stray me, daddy, stray me. I'm ready to sit back and just listen because I'm all about this game, and it might make me upgrade to... I have not played it, but it might make me upgrade to the extra version of PS Plus just to get it, along with some more game library.
All right. Alex, I'll let you take control of this one because you have beaten it, and I have played about half of it. So,
sure. So I want to jump off of what Chad just brought up. Going into this game, I didn't know how much it was going to cost. I did see that some early prices for the game on Steam had leaked. They were listing at it at about like $26, $27. I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's bite the bullet. Let's upgrade to PlayStation Plus Extra. I was previously at, I believe, PlayStation Plus Essential. That's like the baseline, like normal, unupgraded PlayStation Plus tier. Only cost me $11. Turns out that was actually a really good bargain because Stray normally costs like something like $40 on the PlayStation Store at the moment. Don't know if I'll necessarily stick with PlayStation Plus Extra for the rest of my time with the PlayStation platform after my kind of current period with it expires, but we'll see. Onto the game itself. Stray. This game is, I think, the perfect definition of an 8.0 out of 10 game. It's not the greatest, most masterpiece of an experience of all time, but it's really good. I can understand where some of the detractors of this game are coming from, in that I think that the previews and trailers for this game gave off the impression that this game was going to be a little bit more akin to something like Inside or Limbo, where you're playing as this cat in this fantastical world and you are kind of brushing up against really kind of momentous events or kind of really kind of important and unexpected and dark kind of things that are happening, circumstances that are kind of beyond your control, but you never kind of directly impact or really kind of take part in them outside of like maybe a few kind of fleeting instances. And instead, what this game actually is you very early on teaming up with a very chatty robot and going on a pretty chatty adventure in which you are trying to kind of escape from a kind of pretty gnarly, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just basically kind of like a giant silo that was built eons ago to keep the last remnants of humanity safe from the environment around them. And as well, just sort of enrich and make the lives of the remaining inhabitants of the silo, which are all robots, better. And I think a lot of people were kind of like this isn't really kind of what I was expecting out of it. And I get that, but what Stray ultimately is I think really good. I think that it's both a really kind of good platformer that nails the experience of walking around and being a cat and everything zany and eccentric and cat-like that comes with that, while also like just having a lot of really kind of good moments of kind of like quality gamey kind of platforming, be it you kind of like jumping from platform to platform to avoid weird like mutated menaces or avoiding the kind of like how to describe it, like the kind of view lights of sinister robots that are searching for you. On top of that, like this is just a really good example of a game that just has really great kind of hub worlds to kind of like explore and kind of immerse yourself in. I was reminded a lot of games like Super Mario 64 or the original Jack and Daxter game, where the game really kind of encourages you in between its really kind of frantic moments, just kind of sit around and kind of soak in the world. And yeah, overall, I just sort of walked away quite pleased with it. Again, not an absolute masterpiece 10 out of 10. I think that there are some kind of contrived moments to it, both in terms of the plot and the gameplay, that I was like, could have been a little bit better, could have been a little bit more original there. But overall, it was a good use of my $13 upgrade to PlayStation Plus Extra.
Dope. I'm looking at 4.5 hours. Hell yeah, that's a good sized game. Play a cat as. Adam, what'd you think?
I just want to let you know, I spent about like maybe 6.5 hours in that game, but a lot of those like additional 2 hours were spent scouring the kind of little kind of hub environments for extras that I could have theoretically gotten right away if I knew where they were. But, part of the fun is trying to find them yourself.
Dope. Adam, what'd you think?
I think it's all right. I agree with a lot of the things that you said. So I didn't have PlayStation Plus. It did expire like 4 months ago. So I just got 1 month of PlayStation Plus Extra and, pay the $14 and was able to download it immediately. I think it's a game you should play. If anything that Alex just said interests you, or if the idea of playing a cat in an apocalyptic world sounds fun, then you should do it. Absolutely. Especially for, if you upgrade to Extra for a month, or I know that you have to do the whole thing, so maybe it gets pricey.
Yeah,
whatever.
So I've got like
I think
11
the game is
months left that I have to upgrade all at once.
Yeah, then it's a little more expensive. But I definitely think it's good. I'm kind of with some of the other people who have been talking about it, where, I don't know, it's just not what I was expecting it to be. I don't think it's bad. It's just not what I enjoyed. It kind of felt like, same publisher because Annapurna published it, which I believe also published Outer Wilds, which was a game I also did not enjoy. I was like, people were hyping Outer Wilds up to be like the greatest thing ever, and then I played and like, oh, this is pretty good, but since you wouldn't shut up about it, I now dislike it. They haven't done this with Stray. People haven't gone over and done it, but I love the idea that you play as a cat. Like, that's a cool thing. That's, the way that, again, like you said, jumping around, you push stuff to do your platforming. Playing as the cat is a good twist, and I think makes it interesting. And the world itself is beautiful, and I love that the story that they're telling of this post-apocalyptic robot world. All that is great. But then it's just when it got to, doing the story and your motivations and stuff, I just did not care. I don't care about these chatty robots. They just talk. They talk a lot, and I don't care. And they don't have voices, so I just read a lot. And I don't know. I do think the game's fun. I think it's worth trying out. I'm just not crazy about it. He said 8 out of 10. I'd go 7.5. Again, I don't think it's trash. I just don't think it's super, super for me. But again, only being 5 hours, can't complain. But I was like, this is all right. I can get down with this game. But if I had to spend $30 of my own money for it, I don't think I would have been as happy with the product.
What's funny about the robots and their lack of voice acting is, prior to playing Stray, I was chatting with a friend on Discord who was just railing against Annapurna Interactive and how they have a tendency to kind of needlessly insert a lot of big name voice actors into their game to not always great effect. Like, he was really coming down hard on 12 Minutes, the game that had Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe, and what's his name?
James McAvoy.
McAvoy. And in a weird way, like, I actually kind of appreciated the fact that this game doesn't have any kind of voice acting at all. I kind of appreciated that the robots have their own like weird made up language that sounds like a bunch of bleeps and bloops, and that there isn't like some weird well-known voice actor kind of crashing their way like the Kool-Aid Man into the game. But yeah, I understand how it can be a little bit, tedious.
I'm looking up a picture because, again, like I said, I think it's an alright game. I think you definitely should check it out, especially if I would think it'd be worth upgrading to PlayStation Plus Extra if you didn't have it, just to play that. I do think it's that good of a game. I can't find a picture of it, Chad. I was going to try to give you a picture and put it into the chat, but the beginning of the game, I think people have seen it, where you get separated from your other cat family, and your cat's like clawing to like stay up on the ledge, and then the other cats look down at you over the ledge and just stare at you, and then you fall into an abyss, is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's straight up, it's Lion King energy, where it's just like he's barely holding on, and then they just all look over the edge at you and don't make an expression, and then you just fall into a black hole. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I can't find a picture of it, but
these cats, they've lived such innocent lives. They've never been exposed to death or hardship in any way.
It's just, I'm like, what is this longing look?
So
I fall into a sewer.
I just Googled Stray Cat Falls, And yeah, the third option is the little cat on the ledge with his big old eyeballs.
Yeah. And then his three buddies looking at him like, sorry, bro, not to tell you. But yeah, I do want to see it through the end. I really like some of the combat, quote unquote, puzzles where it's like, you can't fight these things, but like, oh, let's do a puzzle to get around the bad guys. I think it's pretty cool. I think you should check it out.
So
Big thumbs up for me.
The trailers and things like that show you have a little cat backpack. And that leads me to my question. Are there skins? If so, is there a spider cat skin?
So after I beat this game, I didn't immediately go back and continue playing it. This game has a little bit of a demanding trophy list. You have to speedrun the game in 2 hours. And so I was kind of like, I think I'll put this down for the time being, maybe come back to it later. So I don't know off the top of my head with certainty whether there are skins or not, but I'm going to say no. Okay. Because I didn't see the game actively advertising that while I was playing it.
0 out of 10.
It is funny when your cat puts on the backpack for the first time. I'm not a cat person. I don't have a cat. But the way that cat reacts to having a backpack on was pretty funny.
Yeah. Real not happy about it.
But then, so your final thoughts? Your thumbs up? 8 out of 10? Good thumbs?
Yeah, 8 out of 10. If you, way back in the day, I wrote down a couple of notes that I wanted to hit on. If any of you ever played, and I'm talking to both you guys and also to our listeners at home, any of you ever played Okamiden, which was the DS exclusive sequel to Okami, and were like, oh man, this game was actually pretty good. Not as bad as people said it was. People were maybe a little bit overly unfair to it because they just wanted a straightforward sequel to Okami and not this weird DS spinoff. Definitely play this game because that game and this game actually follow a very oddly kind of similar plot of you're playing as this animal that's kind of accompanying a bunch of people throughout time and space on their journey to enlightenment and everlasting life. And so, yeah, go check it out. 8 out of 10.
For the number of times the game Okami has been remade, re-released, remastered, and talked about, how have I never heard of Okamiden?
You never heard of this?
Never heard of it. And I'm looking it up right now.
I also wasn't a big DS person either.
That's
so
true,
I didn't.
Yeah,
really.
my first DS was the Majora's Mask one.
The long and short of it is, Okami comes out in 2006, gets ported to the Wii in 2007, this huge cult hit. Everybody rallies around it, proclaims it to be one of the greatest games ever. It wins like a couple of Game of the Year awards over Twilight Princess the year it releases, because they both released the same year. And then Okamiden gets announced a couple of years later, and everyone's kind of like, this is not the sequel to Okami that we wanted. We wanted a Okami sequel on modern consoles, not something that's pared down for the DS. But I think taken for what it is, which is again, kind of pared down version of the Okami experience for the DS, I thought it was really good. I would put it up there with a lot of other like quality DS games like the Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, whatever the Mario was on that console. It's pretty good.
Very cool. And the last thing we're going to review, 2 reviews in one episode.
What?
Look at this. We're crazy. I played As Dusk Falls, which is a new game from a new studio, Interior Nights, people who used to be at, was it David Cage's studio?
Quantum Dream.
So they came over here, and it is a 6-episode, choose your own adventure style game where, again, there's a family who's moving from California out to St. Louis. They get stuck at a motel, and then a hostage situation happens. And we play the story from there. That's basically where it starts, and it goes some pretty crazy places. And I talked with John over at Pixel Street. We had about 45-minute spoiler cast, so if you want to have more like what our actual decisions were. But this is the game that looks like a storyboard comic book because all the characters are storyboarded and everything else is animated in the world. So outside of, it's an interesting art choice. It bothered me in the first episode, and then the rest of the game, it didn't bother me at all. I just played the game. It's a very interesting art choice. If you get past the art choice, this is probably one of my favorite written and best acted, those kind of games.
Oh, okay.
I really, really like the story a lot, and the performances are great. It was because we just did a bar for Life is Strange, and I was like, oh, I liked I like some of these characters and I liked where the story was going, but then it falls apart and it doesn't do what I want to do. This game from the jump is like, yo, this is just like a drama you would watch on AMC or some shit like that, right? It's just like, oh, this is a drama about family, and that's what it is. And I think it's written very well. And then the other cool thing is that there's this big giant spider web where all of your choices actually matter, which I think is fantastic in a choice-based game that your choices actually matter. It's great. Me and John talked about it. We had people, there was a character that I had that had like a really cool ending, and his character died in like the second episode of that same character. I'm like, I had a fully fleshed out story. He's like, no, that dude's dead. I was like, oh my God. Like that is wild. If you like those kind of games, it is amazing. I would say, absolutely try it out. For someone like Chad, I know you like some Telltale, but you didn't like Life is Strange and stuff. It's not going to change your mind. Absolutely. Especially with the art style, like it's going to be weird and it's not going to change your mind. But if you like any of these kind of narrative games where you make decisions and play QTEs, it is one of my favorite ones that I've played just based on the writing. Again, that art style is I'm still 50-50 on it, but the story, the actors are great. It's a fun time. And we actually found there were some really famous people in here, which was cool. We didn't realize it till afterwards. But yeah, I would definitely suggest it, and especially being on Game Pass. Why not? Go for it.
I generally do enjoy like the Quantic Dream games, those decision-based ones with the QTEs. And I was looking at this game thinking, and I'm curious your opinion on it. I like playing those games like couch co-op with people and just sitting there and just passing the controller back and forth, making decisions together. Does this seem like that same type of game that you can do that in?
Yeah, there is actually a multiplayer mode too, where I don't know if it's Twitch or I think there's some kind of multiplayer mode where I think you vote on the choices or whatever, but you could also switch it off. Actually, it's really great because each episode you play as two characters. So you'd be like, I'm going to make all the choices as this person, I'll make choices as this person, and it's fine. I think it works great. And again, your stories will be completely different than someone else's stories, potentially.
Cool. Game Pass subscription getting renewed.
There you go. Definitely worth it. There you go. Look at that. Reviewed 2 games good this week. 2 games that are good. Everyone enjoy it. All right. I think we're going to move on from that to our quest log. And hold on, folks. There's some crazy 3 stories.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Discord takes
snap.
over. That's from Taylor Lyles at IGN.com.
That's a new name.
Yeah. I've seen her. I think she used to work at Engadget or something.
We had her as a guest on Press YZ way back in the day. She was fantastic.
She's very cool. I've seen her face before, but she's now at IGN. Discord announced, not today, but whenever this story is written, Discord announced that it's officially adding voice chat integration to Xbox consoles. The addition means that Xbox Series X, S, and One owners will be able to talk to friends on Discord voice chat from their consoles rather than having to use other devices. In a press release, Discord notes that Xbox Insider will be able to use its voice chat features on their console starting today, which is Xbox Insider is like the beta program. The feature coming at a later date for all their users. As Discord notes, the feature has been widely requested by users. Previously, the company allowed Xbox owners to connect their accounts, but it can only be used to display information like gamer tags. Discord also confirmed that Discord voice chat on Xbox will allow users to transfer their voice call from the app directly onto their consoles using the Xbox mobile app. So, kind of an interesting story, kind of a big deal for me. So, a couple months ago, PlayStation was like, you can link your account to Discord. You couldn't talk on Discord through your PlayStation, but it's like, oh, I'm on PlayStation playing this, whatever.
Right.
I believe every time that Chad is online, he's playing Destiny 2 on his PlayStation, and I can see that that's all that he does. This is what I wanted, right? When Discord was becoming a thing during the pandemic, and I was like, hey, a lot of crossplay is becoming more of a thing, but people haven't figured out voice chat. We should all just use Discord. And if they integrate it into every console, except for Nintendo, because they won't do it, and we can just all use Discord to chat with each other, I'll be so happy. This is what I want. Like, there's still the option to use the Xbox Party Chat, but if everyone can just use Discord, there's Discord app on PlayStation, Discord app on my Xbox, Discord app on my PC, and everyone just plays at the same time. That's the dream. That's all I want. This is my future. I'm very happy.
Yes, I'm very excited about this, especially because one of the 6 of us who raid in Destiny all the time, for some reason, won't leave his Xbox. And he just wants to play in his stupid Xbox. And we always have to use game chat. And it always is like, literally, while we were raiding last weekend, it was like once per run of that raid, somebody had to leave because we couldn't hear them. So they had to leave, quit the game completely, join back in the game, and then we'd beat the boss, and the next time somebody else would have to leave and quit just because game chat was broken. So yeah, Discord chat all over would be fantastic. I'm hoping that it comes to PlayStation a lot sooner, because Xbox had the original integration with like display your gamer tag and what you're playing, and then it took a couple years for full voice chat to come. PlayStation just got the display your gamer tag and what you're playing last year, so hopefully this comes a little bit quicker. I do have inside information from someone who was interviewing to be an engineer to actually make that happen at PlayStation. So it is in the works. No idea what the timeline is on that, so can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm all in on this too. I'm in the exact same position as you, Chad, where I am a Discord baby boy, and it can be a little bit annoying when someone wants to stay on console chat. So the more opportunities that we have to use Discord when we want to use Discord, the better.
Yeah. And like Discord, that's what they do. It's voice chat. It's communities as well, but it's chat. That's their P1. That's their first priority area. And then all these other people are like, hey, we're gonna build our own voice chat and party engine and all this shit. It's like, no, just like let people who do it well, and then just like throw them a bone, let them on your console. So very excited.
Big same here. Yeah, I mean, because they've made headphones specifically. They're like, I think it was the Xbox specific headphones were like, you can connect to two Bluetooth devices, aka your phone on Discord and the consoles. And like, they already had workarounds for it. But yeah, just put it straight in there, make it easy for me. Dr. Windows is a big fan. I
was curious what the UI would look like. Actually, I was like, how does it show up in the UI alongside Xbox Party Chat, and how does one show up as priority? Is it like right in? And it actually, it looks really simple. There's just like, there's Xbox Party Chat, and then there's a big Discord button. You're like,
and then there's Discord. Yeah, just click on Discord. You're good. That's great. All right, so the greatest, the best Warner Brothers character of all time joins Multiverses. Another one from Taylor Lyles at IGN. Look at this, getting busy today. Multiverses, the Smash Bros. Like Warner Brothers crossover fighter, has revealed new characters: Rick Sanchez, Morty Smith, and LeBron James. Everyone,
LeBron James,
the greatest Warner Brothers character of all time. LeBron James announced during a San Diego Comic-Con panel. The panel unveiled these characters with a closer look at how LeBron James controls in the game. The Multiverses panel also confirmed that Morty Smith will join the roster on August 9th, while Rick Sanchez will be playable at a later date. Open beta is July 26th, a.k.a. when you're hearing this as a podcast, everyone can go play Multiverses.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for this game. This Rick and Morty, fantastic. The way that they work LeBron into it is because everyone remembers the classic Space Jam 2021 movie, which technically makes LeBron James a Warner Brothers character because he's in Space Jam. Not LeBron James, the basketball player. LeBron James, the character from the Space Jam movie. So
what is his moveset like? I didn't look at this like how LeBron controls in the game area. What is his moveset? Just throwing basketballs? He dribbles the
ball and he's big as hell.
I also didn't watch the movie. Does he have space powers in the movie or something?
No, he has cartoon powers in the movie. And basketball powers, of course.
Well, what is cartoon powers?
You know, stretchy arms. You've seen Space Jam. Okay.
I've seen the original Space Jam.
You get shot a bunch of times, and you're going to be totally okay. Cartoon powers.
Okay, cool.
But I remember last week, or 2 weeks, whenever time, Chad was asking me what my main is going to be. Of course, Shaggy, because he's a meme. They actually talked about it in the panel. They're like, the only reason that this game is made and Shaggy's in it because Ultra Instinct Shaggy is canon. So they just made the meme canon. But yeah, I'm going to now rock LeBron James and Shaggy.
Yeah, Tasmanian Devil gets right out of my lineup, and now it's Rick Sanchez.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then whenever Rick Sanchez launches, then I'll kick LeBron out for Rick. So I'll be Shaggy and Rick, a main, what I'll be doing.
I just want to say right here and right now, I don't have any intention of seeing the new Space Jam movie. It kind of looks like a nightmare. That being said, I actually am like genuinely, unironically very supportive of the decision to have LeBron James in this game as a playable character. I feel like it's very seldom that we see people kind of think about, ideate, like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if we had X celebrity, X real life person in Smash Bros, in Mortal Kombat, in, name your fighting game of choice. And I think that needs to change. I think we need to start modding, start demanding that they put real life people in our Smash Bros games, in our fighting games more. And I genuinely mean that, like, semi-seriously. Like, I think that there's a lot of potential in real-life people showing up in these games, and so hopefully this will, open the doors for more LeBron Jameses to follow.
I mean,
I hope.
It opens up such a brand new audience, right? I mean, look at Fortnite with The Rock and Ariana Grande and like all of these other playable characters that are based on real celebrities. Like, people get excited about video games for that shit. DF and Smitty in the chat says Arabella, his little daughter, is fucking hyped for LeBron. That's awesome.
Should be, absolutely. My favorite thing, going off of what Alex just said, right? Think about this. Rick and Morty, great characters, fantastic show, wonderful. Not for kids. But think about this. Alternate costume for Rick Sanchez, Justin Roiland. Just put Justin Roiland in the video game.
Yeah.
And then make a smaller version of Justin Roiland as Morty alternate costume. There's more real people in the video game. That's just the real man who does voices.
I love it. And I want it to be like a photorealistic actual picture of him.
Not a cartoon version, like a real version of Justin Roiland. Oh my
version
God,
of
that'd be great. It'd be wonderful. I just can't wait for this game. As you're listening to this, you can play it right now. Everyone get on your... It's cross-platform, so get on wherever you want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just not on Switch.
Absolutely. Is there any... Now that we're here, we did this a while ago where we did a fantasy draft for all the Warner Brothers properties. Warner Brothers owns a lot, Alex. Like, a lot. Things you wouldn't even think about they own. Is there any other character that you would like to be? For me, I'm just going to say it, Godzilla.
I mean,
Monster
it's a pretty...
Warner Brothers.
I suspect they'll probably have to come up with some weird in-universe explanation to explain why he's Yi-size tall, but yeah, I'd be totally down for that. What else? I mean, I guess you could have like King Ghidorah, which is Godzilla's kind of perennial villain. He showed up in like the most recent Godzilla solo movie, but he's like showed up in like a bunch of the old Toho Godzilla movies as well. He'd be fun. I don't know. What are some weird picks that you guys would choose?
Well, there's definitely... We already got Maisie Williams in there from Game of Thrones, but we've got the new prequel series coming out, so we're going to be getting some kind of Dagron Dragonborn person in there. The new Harry Potter game coming out, which means like Voldemort could be very possible, or someone from that universe.
Yeah. I think I suggested all the Impractical Jokers because technically all their stuff's on HBO,
Yes.
so I think it's a Warner Brothers company. Just ridiculous things. It'd be fun. But this one,
it'd be fun. I just want to say real quick, it'd be fun to also have like some of the other Hanna-Barbera franchises in there that don't get, that don't really exist in the public consciousness the way that the Flintstones do anymore. Things like Captain Planet or Yogi Bear, for example. That'd be fun.
Oh my God, Captain Planet.
There's Hanna-Barbera. I didn't realize.
Sorry, one last one before we move on. A genuinely fun one that I actually think, like, I'm not just throwing this out there nilly-willy. I think it could be really funny if they did it correctly. Space Ghost.
Oh, Space Ghost Coast to Coast? Yeah, that'd be great. God, I love that. What was the Harvey Birdman at Law? Also be fun.
Right, yeah.
I would love to see Harvey Birdman fight Bird Person from Rick and Morty.
Oh, man. They're the same character. That'd be great. All right. Ubisoft. So I have the next 3 stories. They're all part of a series. This is my 60 minutes, breaking it down every week. This is my Ubisoft Chalk Block. We're going to call it Ubi Chalk Block. First up, Avatar on the Ubi Chalk Block. Tom Ivan at VGC. Ubisoft has delayed the release of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Wah, wah. Avatar game got pushed back.
Surprise, an Avatar property is not coming out when they said it would. Surprise!
I never would have thought. We'll see it in 10 years. Previously set to be released in calendar year 2022 and now arrive during the company's fiscal year beginning in April 2023. Quote, we are committed to delivering a cutting-edge immersive experience that takes full advantage of next-gen technology as this amazing global entertainment brand presents a major multi-year opportunity for Ubisoft. They said on Thursday, while this additional development time is a reflection of the ongoing constraints on production across the industry, we are hard at work to design the most efficient working conditions to ensure both flexibility for our teams as well as strong productivity. We're talking about we delayed the game because we want to make sure it's good so we can get more Avatar games. Anyways, I'm shocked. I honestly thought they would get it out in time for the movie.
Yeah,
because
they had a decade. They had a decade to prepare for this movie.
So, speaking of the movie, I'm going a little bit off topic here. So, the new trailer for Wakanda Forever came out just this past 24 hours ago. And that trailer features a lot of Namor and his Atlanteans that look a whole heck of a lot like those underwater Na'vi from the upcoming Avatar movie.
Alex, let me stop you real quick. I was literally in the car driving my son home. He said, "Did you see that new Black Panther trailer? They have Avatar people in it." That's literally what he said to me, and I was like, "I don't think so, bud, but you're close."
Like how pissed do you think James Cameron is right now that like every time that like he tries to put out a new Avatar trailer, everyone's like, I don't know about this. We'll see. But every time Marvel is like, oh, hey, we took something that you kind of felt iffy about, but now it's under the Marvel Studios banner. Everyone's like, oh, hell yeah.
Daddy Disney just rolling in them money. They don't give a shit. Go see Avatar and Black Panther. We'll love it. It is wild. Yeah, my son thought Avatar was in Black Panther, and I'm like, I see what you're saying, bud.
Is Avatar Disney? Oh, yeah, I guess it is now.
Yeah, it was Fox, and now
Fox,
Disney owns Fox. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Look at that. I hope the game's cool, I guess. Wait for it to come out. I like the idea of an open world Avatar game, but I'm not like doing a backflip waiting for it. It has to come out that day.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun, maybe.
Come out PS5 VR. I mean, that's the whole idea of it. Like, why is this not a VR game? It's been a very long time since I've seen the original thing, but isn't it like people go into a VR type thing and they like take over the consciousness of this giant blue being?
Are you like envisioning some sort of like escape room scenario where like half of the game is you like interacting with this escape room, which is like the room where you put on like the VR headset, and every time you like finish up what you're doing in the Navi world, you take off the headset and you have to like solve something in the escape room?
No, I just want an Avatar VR game. I don't know why or how I got onto this topic, but I just want an Avatar VR game, and it would make sense in the world
around the big plants.
I mean, you play as think of it, it's like Desmond in Assassin's Creed. It's like you play as Desmond, you go into the world, and you are suddenly Ezio. But like,
so you want to be an Avatar, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to be whoever the random military dude is who puts on the headset and becomes Sam Worthington, and then becomes Blue Dude. Like, that's what I want to be. And I want to put on my headset and become Blue Dude, and then take it off.
You want
and
to
I
live
look like
that
Sam
experience.
Worthington in real life.
I got you.
Yeah.
I think his name's Jake Sully in the movie. I don't know why I know that, but here we are.
I mean, I will say, like, all, like, you know, joking around aside, I think there is something potentially really cool about being a Na'vi in, like, stereoscopic 3D with the headset and the whole shebang, and then, like, walking up to a human, because in the world of Avatar, like, humans are, like, maybe, like, yay tall compared to the tallness of the Na'vi. Like, that could actually be really cool to be like, holy shit, I am this like hulking, incredibly tall alien that completely dwarfs everything else around me.
And then the guy from Don't Breathe comes and stabs you with a robot. It'd be so good. Next up on the Ubisoft chop block, Assassin's Creed. What? Jason Finelli at GameSpot.
Oh, that guy's
Ubisoft
in the mob.
mentioned. Do what now?
That guy's in the mob.
Finelli? Yeah,
Yep.
It sounds like it. What's the dude from Hey Arnold? Spumoni?
Dino Spumoni.
Yeah. Completely different name, but
Which is
similar.
also a euphemism for ejaculation.
Yeah, absolutely. Ubisoft mentioned a delay for another smaller premium unannounced title. Reports now indicate all of these three stories came from one press release because Ubisoft is in trouble. Reports now indicate the game in question is Assassin's Creed Rift, a new standalone AC game that was originally meant to be DLC episode for Valhalla. According to Bloomberg News, Ubisoft's Bordeaux office, which is leading development on the project, requested the game be pushed from its target February launch due to the game running far behind schedule. The game is now slated for release in May or June, according to the report, which would move it to Ubisoft's 2023 fiscal calendar. So this is the Assassin's Creed where you play as Basim from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Right.
Which they mentioned, they're like, oh, we're delaying Avatar and another unannounced game, and that unannounced game apparently is the Assassin's Creed game. Just a lot of delays, guys. Yeah, any feelings about Assassin's Creed?
I'm actually okay with this one. I'm not an Assassin's Creed person, but I remember when they announced that this game was coming, I was concerned that, they're taking something that was supposed to be a DLC and then just kind of shoehorning it and making it its own standalone game. And I felt like it might not be as fully fleshed out or developed. So to hear that they want to take more time with it and delay it, I think is actually a good thing for this game. Well, obviously it's a good thing for most games, but this one actually makes me... For this game, I am more at ease than I was before it got delayed.
Yeah, I have confidence that when all the Assassin's Creed games that are, currently in development come out, they'll probably be, pretty good to great. The last Assassin's Creed game I played was Assassin's Creed Odyssey the year it came out, and I thought it was pretty good at the time, but man, like, it sometimes feels like Ubisoft has like the computer deep thought from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in the back of their company to like figure out how do we make sure that each and every one of these Assassin's Creed games hits, because it feels like, again, seems like all of Ubisoft's upcoming Assassin's Creed projects are going to be what they're going to be, and what they're going to be is good to great. But it feels like if one of them misses, like that is going to be like the canary in the coal mine that like, ooh, things might truly be in trouble here at ye old Ubisoft.
Yeah, when what is the one in London? Syndicate. That was the one that was a little bit like, oh, people didn't take well to that, and then they didn't make Assassin's Creed game for like 3 years till they made Origins. So they're trying to be very protective of that property.
Yeah, but also like that was a very, I would say, different time for Ubisoft as a company, where that game didn't do well, but it didn't kind of spell doom and gloom for Ubisoft as a whole, because they had a lot of other, good stuff in addition to Syndicate coming out around then. Right now, it feels like everything is sort of riding on Assassin's Creed hitting the way it should. So,
especially with all these delays.
Hopefully Skulls and Bones is going to be the big next thing.
Exactly. Like that's what I was thinking. Like, what's coming now this year if all of these are getting delayed? And it's like just Skull and Bones.
And Skull and Bones. That's it. Rabbids and Skull and Bones.
Rabbids. Spark of Hope.
I was going to say, Rabbids, really looking forward to that. I love the original. But hopefully the sequel will be great too.
I thought you were doing a mashup between Rabbids and Skull and Bones. I was like, I would play the hell out of that game.
Yeah, the Rabbids on the pirate ship. You didn't know? And last up on the Ubisoft chop block, 4 dead games. Get a funeral, get a pyre, put these games on there.
4 games are dead.
Boom. Jordan Midler at VGC. Ubisoft has announced it has ceased the development of Ghost Recon Frontline, Splinter Cell VR, and 2 completely unannounced games. During that financial call, of course, all this came out. The company said that both games had been canceled due to the changing financial environment. The company did not provide further details. So, just for the games that we knew about, here we're going to talk about. Ghost Recon Frontline was a battle royale game that saw groups of 4 players teaming up to face more than 100 players across a large map. The game's announcement was met with significant backlash, which caused Ubisoft to delay and eventually cancel a planned play test, which I remember they're like, oh yeah, look at this battle royale game. We play it next month, and then the game's gone. They didn't do that. Still waiting on Defiant or X-Defiant, whatever. Little was known about Splinter Cell VR beside Jesus Christ, I'm almost done reading. Beyond a brief tease from Yves Guillemot, quote, on Splinter Cell there will be some type of new experience, but more on different devices. So we're working a lot on the brand today to come back at one point, he said. The game was planned in collaboration with Meta, would have been exclusive to Meta headset. So Splinter Cell VR dead. You can't look up at the big man in VR. Sorry, Chad, you can't be an avatar. And then their Ghost Recon. I don't know what they're doing with that. That franchise used to just put out bangers, and I don't know what they're doing now. But yeah, there are 4 dead things. 2 things delayed, 4 things dead. That's it for the chop block.
I love that Ubisoft is like, we hear you, we know you want Splinter Cell things, and all you want is a proper Splinter Cell game, and we're not going to give you that, but we're going to give you a lot of other Splinter Cell type things and experiences that you don't want, and also those are canceled now. And like, we're trying to figure out how to bring this back in a way that you still don't want.
I actually have a theory. I actually think, and Ubisoft will never admit to this, that they canceled the Splinter Cell VR game because the only way you could play it was if you had 3 eyes so that you could see through the 3 green thingies on Sam Fisher's head. And they just couldn't find enough playtesters to test it out. So they had to put it on the chopping block.
I wonder how much Meta right now is... Like, they are struggling. Like, their stock is tanking. They are, if you are working at Meta, they have realigned a lot of their priorities to focus on the metaverse and AR and VR. But they're also, like, in a huge hiring freeze right now. And I'm wondering if they were collaborating so much on this that Meta came to Ubisoft and said, hey, remember that Splinter Cell game we were going to go in on? Like, no, it's not a priority for us anymore. And so Ubisoft was like, well, fuck. Well, now what do we do? I wonder how much that has to do with it.
Maybe so. If they weren't kicking back and they're like, well, we're not going to make any money on this. So, I don't know, man. Ubisoft, again, I like their games, but it's been a lot of bad news for like the last year and a half, feels like.
Yeah.
Not great. Which is rough. But that is it for the thing where we talk about the stories. What's it called? A quest log. It says the end of it. I'm having a real good time over here tonight. But that means, it must be time for a segment of some sort.
Oh, is it a segment from Adam? Segment from Adam.
All right.
I get a little lion here.
Actually,
I get a lion, and hold please, I'm also going to be a lion. Roar. Avatar.
Jesus.
is that
Chad,
a
you
lion?
better be careful.
It put the
This
face
po-
on the toy.
Did it really?
Put the
What?
face on the toy.
Trace, give me the toy.
Yeah.
Give me the toy. I'm gonna
Pull
put it
the
on my
toy
dog.
back up.
Oh, he
See
doesn't
if
want to
it
get it. Hold
works.
on.
Wait a minute. Maybe cover your face and then just have its face. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Wow.
Oh my
It's
god.
flashy, but it's there.
Yeah. Be careful,
I
Chad.
need to
This
put my dog
podcast
on
is
this.
already trying
Trace,
to kill
can you-
us. It will definitely kill us if you leave on the lion-faced lion for too long.
I need
But
to see
this week,
Come here.
a segment from Adam is actually brought to you by Dr. Windows. Hey,
Dr.
everybody.
Windows. Hell yeah.
Dr. Windows here. I'm Adam asked me to step in real quick. Maybe this will be my voice. Maybe it won't going forward. I haven't decided yet. And I got a fun game for you to play this week. It's one of Chad's favorite.
Ooh.
This is called Smoosh Me Out of a Movie, Mommy,
Yes.
All right.
which is the opposite of when Chad is like, smoosh me into a movie, Daddy, where in this game, instead of taking a pre-existing movie and putting a video game, adaptation of it, we're taking a video game and putting it, wait a minute. How does this work, Chad? We're taking, I forgot. We're taking a show and putting it into a video game. These are all TV shows today. So what is this? We're going to take a show. I'm going to give you a show. And they're like, we got to make a video game tie-in, but we don't have time for development on a video game. So take a pre-existing video game and we'll change an asset so that the character looks different, and we'll change the names, and then that's it. So I'm going to give you a show and you give me a video game that would be perfect tie-in for that show.
Great.
And I've got a special time this week. We have two people with us. I've got Chad. I've got Alex. And one of you's from the United States and one of you's from Canada. So I have a list of Canadian TV shows and American TV shows. And we're going to smoosh.
No.
We're going to smoosh these TV shows out of a video game, Mommy. And we're going to... And you're going to make these TV shows that are specific to your country and put them into a video game. So, first up, a classic, and again, this is just based off of Google. I don't watch a lot of Canada. Actually, I do watch a good amount of these Canadian TV shows. We're going to start with an easy one, Trailer Park Boys. Classic, a TV show in Canada that's been going on for a very long time. About some boys who live in a trailer park.
I know of it. I have seen the faces of its main characters many a time. I have not seen it, but I get the general gist of it.
Even better. We can just guess.
There's like
Trailer Park
hockey
Boys.
humor in it, right? It's a very hockey humor
assuming.
game. Yeah.
They say tabernacle, right? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think they're from like the French part of Canada.
We've never watched this TV show, but Trailer Park Boys, dudes who live in Canada who apparently live in trailer park and they're insane. What video game we're going to turn that into, or what video game we're going to?
Here's what I'm thinking. I don't know much about the show, but I always get it confused with Letterkenny, and I also don't know much about Letterkenny.
Maybe Letterkenny's coming up.
So, my thought process is this is probably a show about a bunch of dudes just sitting around talking and saying funny shit in different situations, and that leads me to Accounting VR from Justin Roiland, where you're just in a bunch of different little vignettes and people are just saying the most ridiculous, stupid things. So
we just put it in a Canadian trailer park.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh, I like that. Alex, as the fellow Canadian, I'm not fucking from Canada, as the only Canadian on the show, how does that feel to you?
I mean, I think that there's potential there. Personally, I don't know why this came to mind all at once. Maybe it's because of its woodsy aesthetic. I was thinking something more in the vein of The Last of Us. And when I say something in the vein of The Last of Us, I mean not just in terms of gameplay, but tone too, because we need to, stick closely to the script here. I can see the Trailer Park Boys executives coming into the room being like, I understand that this show is, a very kind of not silly... Hold on a sec. we understand that this show is a real silly giggle fest, but, we really want to go after, the 4 quadrants that The Last of Us was able to successfully capture. And so we have to fully emulate its seriousness of tone. In my version of The Last of Us meets the Trailer Park Boys, you're only following the one Trailer Park Boy, the one with the glasses that has like the checkered shirt.
Bubbles, I believe is his name.
Yeah, that sounds right.
No.
I think
And basically, the entire cast around him is everyone else from The Last of Us. So it's Ellie, it's the leader of the Fireflies from early on in the game. It's Tessa. I want to say she was the one who got killed early on. Like it's basically the entire plot of The Last of Us, except every now and then the other Trailer Park Boys will join your character and they'll just sort of like be chatting and like cracking the same jokes that they would on an episode of the show until you get to the next cutscene, at which point they will disappear and never be acknowledged by any of the other characters of the game.
Interesting. Like a little goof just inserted in there, real serious stuff, and then here
because
comes
the idea
Bubbles.
is that like again, we want to kind of evoke the seriousness of The Last of Us, but we want to just insert like just a little like sugar coated topping on top of it, just so that we can like differentiate it ever so slightly.
I'd buy the remake if they did that.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I'm just looking at pictures of Bubbles.
Real dumb question. The remake of The Last of Us, is it coming to PC?
Eventually,
we don't know yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've not been paying close enough attention to the news cycle surrounding that game, so I didn't know if that had already been announced. I mean, if it's coming to PC, people can actually mod that into the game. So
yeah,
we might be onto something here.
TM, trademark, stamp. This is us. This is our idea. If you make money off of it, you owe us.
Yeah, I hope Bubbles shows up in Spider-Man because that's about to come to PC really soon. So for an American show now, Chad, this one's a classic. Everyone's heard of it. Friends is actually too mainstream. How about you do Frasier?
Oh my God.
Not Friends, Frasier.
I love, actually, yesterday after the announcement of Avengers, Kang Dynasty and Avengers, whatever the second
Secret
one was.
Wars.
Yeah. There was a Photoshop of a meme of like, hey, this is Cheers season or Cheers phase 6. And it had Frasier, whatever the fucking song is, something in scrambled eggs. And
scrambled eggs.
Yeah,
okay.
Something in Frasier scrambled eggs. It was fantastic. Anyway,
before we pitch our video game version of Frasier, I just want to say this is one of the shows, of course, I've heard the name of many a times. I have no clue what the show is about, and I have no clue who's on it.
You don't need to.
Me neither.
My
All I know is
pitch.
Kelsey Grammer's on it, and he's just like he's supposed to be
Grammer's
super
Frasier.
stupid smart.
He
David
was in
Hyde Pierce is his brother.
he was in the one Transformers movie
He was
with
in that one Transformers movie.
yeah, with the dinosaurs and all that shit.
Yep.
How off am I in my assumption that Frasier is a show about people that live in New York that kind of hate their lives, and every single episode is them complaining about shit happening?
No, they live in Seattle. The rest of that's correct. He's a psychiatrist in Seattle. He's a talk show psychiatrist in Seattle. And his brother, who's played by David Hyde Pierce, is also there. And they sing about scrambled eggs at the end. But it's very much like
tossed
Adventures
salad
of
and
Depressed.
scrambled eggs.
Okay, so
He's
I was
a character from Cheers.
I was mostly correct, except that the big metropolis they live in is Seattle as opposed to New York.
On the other coast. Okay. Basically. I love that you haven't seen these shows. God, it's so much better.
I want this to be Octodad. I want him like he's walking around in a tweed jacket and with a fucking pipe smoking, trying to fit in with like 2022. Like no one does that shit anymore. Like, and he's walking around regular ass people trying to fit in and blend in. That's what I want this to be. But it's Frasier.
Okay. I like it. Just Frasier trying to pretend to be a human being.
Or I Am Bread. Maybe it's I Am Bread. Kelsey Grammer plays the bread. We don't even have to do a palette swap. And he's just in search of tossed salads and scrambled eggs so that he can be croutons in the tossed salad, and then the sequel game is scrambled eggs, and he's a piece of toast on the plate.
Okay. This is wonderful. For never have seen the show, you guys are doing wonderful at this.
Great.
So for the next one, Alex, I'm going to give you a choice because I actually want you to sort of know what happens because I don't actually know what happens in these TV shows. One of them you probably know. The other one maybe you know. I don't know. So we have Degrassi, which I believe is like a high school drama thing. It's very popular.
Drake.
From Canada.
Right,
Drake was in
right.
it. Yep. And then Kids in the Hall, which I know people really like. I've never seen it. So which one do you want to do?
We will do Kids in the Hall because I've actually seen. I've not seen like some of the more recent content they've done, but I've watched a lot of the old stuff.
Okay, what is it? Is it? I'm assuming it's like a sketch comedy.
Yeah,
thing?
it's a sketch comedy show. They do all sorts of weird stuff. There's this one recurring character called the Chicken Lady. That's actually a guy in drag that explodes into feathers when she gets too sexually stimulated. It's a whole trip.
Kids in the Hall sounds wonderful. All right.
Oh God!
So yeah, what kind of game?
About this.
What game could you take a pre-existing game and make it a Kids in the Hall video game?
Okay, so there's this one Kids in the Hall sketch. I want everybody who's participating in or listening to this podcast right now to look this up after the podcast. There's a Kids in the Hall sketch called Feliat, and the whole premise for the sketch is basically it's them like doing a spoof on like a German game show where you put on oven mitts and then you have to use the oven mitts to feel up a random object that you're given but not shown, and then you have to like say out loud what it is. And the sketch is real weird because they're all speaking in like fake German. It's like, oh, what Konder Objekten do feeling? Oh, it's Salisbury steak. And it's a little bit hard to describe, to be honest. Again, definitely go and watch it. It's quite a trip.
Season
and so I'm
5,
trying to
episode
think.
1, and the host of it, it looks eccentric and fantastic as hell.
Oh yeah, it's great. So I'm trying to figure out though how can we adapt Feliat, that specific episode of Kids in the Hall, into a game. And I was thinking of something maybe akin to like 1 versus 100, the Xbox game, where you have like everybody like competing like all at once, all battling one person. Maybe this can be a VR rendition of 1 versus 100 where you're trying to feel the object with your VR controllers, and the VR controllers have really good haptics. And so if you're like feeling up if the game wants you to imagine that you're feeling a steak while holding oven mitts, it can actually do that.
I like this.
And when it comes to PC, I want it to be modded so that everything is boobs. Everything you're trying to feel is boobs with the haptics.
Or Kelsey Grammer's head.
Or Kelsey Grammer's head, which coincidentally is how God modeled boobs for the first time. He's like, what should I put here? And then he looked at Kelsey Grammer's head and he's like, oh, got it.
That's how it worked. Absolutely. All right. I like that, Kids in the Hall. That's a fun idea. Chad, you also get a choice of these classic American TV shows. Did I go to my Hulu and just look at things that I've been watching? Perhaps. So this one, you got 3 choices just because they're too good. Actually, we're going to make it 4. No, I don't want to make it 4 because you're not going to choose Burn Notice. So I'm not going to put it on the list.
Okay.
So we have Rick and Morty.
All right.
We have King of the Hill.
Okay.
And we have Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So out of those 3 American TV shows, what do you want to put into a video game?
Well, I feel like the most American is King of the Hill.
Yeah,
And there's already a Rick
Hank
and Morty
Hill's in
video game. And there's Trover Saves the Universe, which is basically Rick and Morty. So we're gonna go King of the Hill.
All right.
As far as what game that is.
Alex, have you seen King of the Hill up there?
Yeah, I've so like King of the Hill back in the day used to be part of like the same TV programming block as The Simpsons, and so like I would catch an episode of The Simpsons, and then if I was feeling up to it, I would watch King of the Hill afterwards. That was one of those shows where, like, to be honest, I didn't love it back in the day because it was a little bit more serious, a little bit more grounded than The Simpsons. Like, characters would, like, get their fingers cut off on that show or die or suffer heart attacks. Like, real, like, actual stuff of consequence would happen there, and it didn't really impress very much upon my kind of 8-year-old mind at the time. But, like, I believe everyone that says nowadays that show was, like, secretly really, really good because from what I remembered of it, it seemed like they were actually, like, really going for something.
Oh, boring as a kid, loved it as a teenager and an adult.
Right.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's going to exactly fit, but here's what I want it to be. I want it to just be a palette swap. Like, take the character models out, swap in the new ones, and voices for Donkey Kong 64. Okay. And I want each of the King of the Hill members. Like, I want Bobby out there as Baby Kong. Actually, I don't remember whether Baby Kong's in Donkey Kong 64, but I want, maybe he's in there as Dixie Kong, or Boomhauer as Lanky Kong. Like,
He's definitely Lanky.
Yeah, out there playing trombone and shit. That's what I want. Is a Donkey Kong 64 with King of the Hill sprites.
It's funny to me. It's funny to me that King of the Hill gets made into a Donkey Kong 64 knockoff, because I feel like if there's any cartoon out there that deserves to be made into a Donkey Kong 64 knockoff, it's The Simpsons, because there have been too many seasons of The Simpsons, and I feel like that suits a Donkey Kong 64 style game very well, where everyone's like, this game is good, but there's too much of it. There's just way too many bananas, way too many collectibles.
Very true. Very true. All right. That's it for Dr. Windows. He thinks you guys did a really good idea. He had to leave. I'm here back in place of Dr. Windows.
I'm so glad he was able to be here, because usually his availability is really tight. So thanks,
He's
Dr.
always working
Windows.
on those windows, you know?
Yeah. Resizing them. It's time for Game On Game Show. The Game On Our Game Show, we play a game called Game On Game Show on our game show. Game. Leaning into this multiplayer game thing here, having several people on the podcast, we're going to revisit a game that doesn't work so well with 2 people, but works a lot better with 3. And this is Assassin's Creed good? Except we're reskinning it for Pokemon. We've played Assassin's Creed good. We've played Is Call of Duty good. Now we're playing Is Pokemon good?
Interesting.
And for this game, we've got Metacritic scores, and we're doing, and so I have the Metacritic scores in front of me. You all are going to try to guess what these games got. The closer you are to it, the lower your score will be. The lowest score at the end of this wins. Here are the rules. We're only doing mainline Pokemon games, so we're not doing like Mystery Dungeon. We're not doing Pokemon Snap or Legends Arceus. We are doing mainline games. We're not doing remakes. We're only doing originals. And it only goes as far back as Metacritic goes. So the first one that we're doing is Ruby Sapphire. So we're not doing like Fire Red, Leaf Green. We're not doing Red, Blue, Yellow. So we've got 8 generations of Pokemon games here. Another thing to keep in mind, for all of these, both versions, we're also not doing we're doing Ruby Sapphire. We're not doing Emerald. We're doing Diamond Pearl. We're not doing whatever the third one was. For all of these except for one, the Metacritic scores were identical between the 2 versions.
Right.
For the one that it wasn't, we took the higher of the 2.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay, so that's how the game works. You guys are going to guess. We'll go game by game. I'll tell you how close you were. That way you can start to pick up on patterns. And by the end of the game, we'll see whether or not you all think Pokemon is good, whether or not Metacritic thinks it's good, and where you fall on that scale.
Gotcha.
Adam, I feel like you're going to struggle a little bit more than Cozy will on this one, but hopefully you'll pick up on some things.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. We're going to start with the year 2003. Fade Up from Black, 60 frames a second. Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. This is the first game that Metacritic has a score for in the mainline series. So we'll start with Alex as our RAF regular guest. What do you think the Metacritic score for Ruby Sapphire was?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say 86. The Ruby and Sapphire games and Emerald are games that, hold a very kind of special place in my heart. But at that point in the history of the Pokemon series, the bloom was off the rose a little bit. There were people that were a little bit disappointed that you couldn't trade over your Pokemon from Gold and Silver to Ruby and Sapphire. I think that, critics across the board enjoyed it, but I don't think that they were as enthused with them as they were for some of the prior entries.
All right. Great justification. 86 is your score. Adam, what's
85.
your guess? 85. Oh, you're going the just one-off strategy. All right, I like it.
I know Metacritic, even for very popular game series, normally like mid to upper 80s, maybe very low 90s. So if this is one of the least popular, I would say mid to low 80s is my guess where it ended up.
Gotcha. The actual Metacritic score for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire was 82.
There we go.
Which means right now Adam's ahead by 1 point.
I should have, as I was saying it out loud, I realized that I was highballing it a little bit, going with 86. I should have gone a little bit lower, to be honest.
I would have gone one lower. Doesn't matter.
All right, to shake things up, Diamond and Pearl. Adam, you're going first this time.
Shit. All right. Diamond and Pearl.
2007.
Yep.
If that changes things, 4 years later.
Oh, it changes so much. I'm going to say this one is an 80. We'll go 86 on this.
All right, 86 for Adam. Alex, what's your guess?
I'm actually going to go 83 on this. So the original versions of Diamond and Pearl featured some just kind of a lack of kind of quality of life features that people really ding those games for. I remember in particular surfing in the original version of Diamond and Pearl was like super unbelievably slow, and that's actually one of the big things that they fixed with Pokemon Platinum a few years later. So yeah, I think the chips were a little bit low on that one. 83.
The reveal of the Metacritic score for Diamond and Pearl was 85.
Ooh, so right in the middle.
Yep. So Alex, you were under by 2. Adam, you were over by 1, which means Adam won that round as well. Currently, Adam is ahead by 2 points.
All right.
All right. Next up, 2011. Fade up from black, 60 frames a second. Pokemon White and Black. Alex, you're going first this time.
I'm gonna go 87 on these. Pokemon Black and White, had their detractors when they came out, but I think by and large, people really connected with the weird, kind of more eccentric Team Plasma villainous plot in that game. I think they really liked some of the new characters that game introduced, like N, and I think in general they were really keen on a lot of the quality of life features that those games featured over Diamond and Pearl a few years prior.
All right. Excellent justifications, Alex. Adam.
88. People like this game because it got a 2.
Spoilers for our
There's a
next
black
one.
and white, too.
There's a black and white too.
Yeah.
All right. The actual Metacritic score was 87. Right on it, Alex. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yes!
So Alex got a 0 that time, which is the best score you can get on a round. Adam, you are 1 off, which means you're now only 1 ahead, Adam. I also earlier lied and said there are 8. There are only 7 of these. Sorry, I lied. Not sorry.
Dr. Windows not happy.
Dr. Windows can suck it. All right. Next up, 2012, the year after Pokemon White version 2 / Pokemon Black version 2. Adam, you're up.
86.
86. Any
I
justification?
think people like
or
the
just
sequel a little
picking?
bit. Maybe they liked it a little bit less.
Okay. Alex.
Am I allowed to give the same answer?
Sure. 87?
No, you know what? I'm actually going to go with 85.
Okay. Why 85?
I mean, I think people were, across the board really pleased with the way that these games continued the story of Black and White. But I think, every single time you have, one of these like special edition / sequel versions of the mainline games, it's diminishing returns because, it's a lot of content you've already seen before and people are going to be overly critical of the lack thereof of new content, if there is a lack of new content.
Got it. Well, you were right to go down a little bit this time rather than staying where you were because Metacritic says 80. Straight flat 80.
Wow.
Yeah, which means, Adam, you were over by 6. Alex, you were over by 5, which means you are now both tied.
We're tied. Yeah.
It's
How many
interesting.
games is this?
Sorry?
What number game is this?
That was number 4 out of 7.
Okay, cool.
3 games
Go ahead,
left.
Alex.
I would not have anticipated that they got just 80. Like, I guess this is one of those interesting cases where I feel like when people, speak back to, think back to the times of Black and White, I feel like they tend to kind of just merge these two games together. And I feel like back in the day, back when people were actually reviewing these games, I suspect that people probably, again, for the reasons I listed, were not perhaps as charitable to these games as we remember them being.
Let's see if that carries on for Pokemon X and Y in 2013. Again, just 1 year later. Another generation of Pokemon comes out. And let's see, it is Alex's turn to go first.
I'm going to go with 86 on this one. I think that potential hot take incoming, the Pokemon X and Y games are the Pokemon games that have aged the worst of any of the modern Pokemon games. But at the time, I think people were really jazzed to see the series make the full transition to 3D.
All right, Adam, you're up.
What was your number again, Alex?
86.
88. I think when they were like, hey, X and Y chromosome, people were like, fuck, that's hot.
All right.
Alex, what was the third one in that one? X, Y? It wasn't Z. Well, there wasn't a Z.
There was no Z. Even though in the game itself they like set up, oh, there's like a green legendary Pokemon that can kind of look like a Z. Pokemon Z never happened.
Oh.
Ooh, another question for you, Alex. Whenever you hear, because I know Canadians do this, they say Z instead of Z. Weird. Whenever you watch commercials and it's from America, do they change that? Like if that game would have came out, would have been Pokemon Z, or would you have to say Z because they said Z?
No, like the whole ZC thing, like it's not like a like prevalent enough thing where like a commercial will like change it to be pronounced Z instead of Z if it's from America. Like even I myself typically tend to say Z and not Z in just like casual conversation.
Gotcha.
I
I had
like
friends
the
who said
idea.
Z for 6 months, and I had no idea what the hell they were going on about. I was too afraid to ask. So, but anyways, go ahead, continue.
I love the idea that they will literally just dub over the letter Z in Canada. So it'll be like,
X, Y, Z. Yeah, great.
love it. All right, 2 more games left. Oh, sorry, I didn't reveal the score. The actual
what's the
Metacritic
score?
for that one was 88. Adam nailed it.
Yeah.
88.
Told you.
Alex, you were under by 2, which means now Adam is ahead by 2. All right, Pokemon Sun and Moon 2016. After the rousing success that was XY Metacritic-wise, they said, let's take 3 years before we bring out the next one. How did it do? Adam, you're up.
This one, so I know people like the changes, but I don't know if every reviewer would like to change, or would they like change? I'm going to go this one as an 85.
85?
Because I think getting rid of I know that one got rid of gyms and stuff, or like a traditional whatever, so I feel like some reviewers would be like, how dare you, and that would maybe bring down the overall score. 85.
All right, Cozy, what's your guess?
Yeah, I'm going to go with an 84. I think that the Pokemon Sun and Moon games made a lot of changes to the Pokemon formula for the better, and I think were better games overall than X and Y. But I feel like, to Adam's point, I think a lot of critics didn't totally jive with some of these changes, and the game's Metacritic scores suffered because of it.
So this game got an 87 on Metacritic.
Oh.
Still pretty high in Pokemon terms, which means, Adam, you were under by 2. Alex, you were under by 3, which means you are now trailing by 3 points in our last round. All right, we're skipping Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and we are going straight to Pokemon Sword and Shield 2019.
Hey, Chad, real quick.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening, but in your background, there's just a yellow thing getting flung back and forth. I know it's your dog, but it's really funny to look on camera that a yellow thing just flies and then nothing, and then it'll fly back the other way. It's really
That is
good.
his new donut toy that he is throwing up and down in the air because I'm not
great.
going to play with him, so he's going to play with himself. All right, this one is Alex. You're up first. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, you know, in the lead up to these games' release, there were a lot of real whiny fans complaining about the national decks, complaining about the lack of textures on the trees, even though a lot of those conversations didn't seep into, like, the reviews that this game received from actual legitimate outlets. I still feel like this game kind of had a miasma of people being like, I don't know how much I love this around it when it came out. So I'm going to go with 81.
Ooh, I think that's the lowest guess we've had so far. Yeah, that's the lowest guess we've had so far. All right, Adam, you're up.
So I could absolutely cheese this and just guess exactly what he guesses, and I'm guaranteed to win.
That's true. That's true.
But I'm not going to do that. I know that people had issues, but it was the first one on like a console, so maybe that gives some credence. I'm going to say 84. Wait a minute. That's only a 3-point difference, so that means we tie. I'll go to 85, just in case he gets it spot on. He does deserve to win, so I'll say an 85. We'll see who wins.
All right. So I will reveal to you first the final scores. One of you has 18 points. One of you has 17 points. And reminder, lower is better, which means you were less off the mark. The Metacritic score was 80 for this game, meaning that Alex made it by Adam. You were over by 5. Alex, you were only over by 1, which means you made up your ground and won in the final round.
Whew.
Here's the other thing. So if we take the average of all of these scores, we can figure out like whether or not you personally think Pokemon is good by what your average score that you give it versus what Metacritic is. So Metacritic, the average score is 84.1428571, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 84.1. Alex, you were kind of right on with Metacritic, but I think they're pretty good. 84.57 is your average. Adam, you tend to think that they are much better than they are, as you gave the score an average score of 86.142.
Well, I'm a forgiving lover. What can I say?
Put it on your headstone. Forgiving lover. All right, that's it for Game on Game Show. Turns out Pokemon is good. Game on Game Show, Game on a Game Show, game. Reminder, if you're not playing Metal Wolf Chaos, fuck you. Play it. I'm going to go back and listen to this on Tuesday, and I'm going to play it because I said fuck you to me. Do that. It's our barf game for the month, which is Backlog Accomplishment with Respawn and Friends. We pick a game. We pick a list of games for you to vote on which one you want us to play. You go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. You float us $1, and you say, I want you to play this game. And then we play that game based on your votes. Which, speaking of, it is July 24th, which means August's poll will go up. And this is you, Alex? I'm sorry, you, Adam, on this one?
It's actually Alex's turn. No, it's my turn. I have to come up with...
Oh, no, I wasn't briefed on this.
No. I gotta... It's my second month. I'll come up with... This month's was Freedom because of 4th of July.
Right.
Is there a national holiday next month? I'll figure something out. You'll know by the middle of the week.
My mom's birthday on August 4th.
All right. Any game with a mom in it. Let's go.
Games with moms. I can do that.
Games with moms.
I was going to say she's Italian, so maybe Italian games?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do those exist?
We'll figure it out.
What about Cooking
Games
Mamas?
with Italian moms.
What are the poop names that we gave for the Cooking Mama games?
It's like Cooking Poop 2
Cooking Poop with Friends or something like that?
Something insane.
Shut the hell up. That was wonderful. All right. Cooking Mama Poop with Friends. All right. So yeah, go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire, vote on stuff, get some cool wallpapers, etc., etc. Thank you, Alex, again for joining us as our RAF regular guest on the show. Again, you'll be seeing much more of him in the future. Alex, if they want to see you sooner than in the future, like right now, where can they go to consume your content?
You can find me on Twitter at Alex Kozina, AlexKozina. And you can find me on the Twitches at twitch.tv/CozyBearLive, KOZIBEARLIVE. I recently just finished up a Nuzlocke run of Pokemon Emerald Cross. And very soon I'm going to be starting up a Nuzlocke run of Pokemon Leaf Green with some fun new rules. If you like interacting with people on Twitch and watching them suffer, you're definitely going to want to tune into this upcoming miniseries because it is going to be a trip.
Watching them suffer. That sounds like Saw. I love it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. Ooh, I'm a sexy Christmas baby.
Jesus.
I don't even know what that means.